Macmillan Audio presents Redemption Point by Candice Fox. Narrated for you by Euan Morton. Chapter 1. There were predators beyond the wire. I knew they were there, although in the month since I'd been released from incarceration, I hadn't yet seen one. My evening ritual was to come down to the shore and look for the ominous rise of two dead eyes above the surface of the water, the flick of a spiky tail. Feeding time. Half a ton of prehistoric reptile lolling and sliding beneath the sunset-lit water, separated from me by nothing but an old rusty fence. I looked for crocodiles every day, drawn to the bottom of my isolated property on Crimson Lake by the recollection of being one of them. Ted Conkaffey, the beast, the hunter, the hidden monster from whom the world needed to be protected. I couldn't stop myself coming down here, though holding the wire and watching for the crocs brought up the comparisons, the dark thoughts, all those scary old memories of my arrest, my trial, my victim. She was never far from my mind. Claire would come to me at the strangest times, more vivid than she possibly could have been when she first etched herself into my memory, standing there at the bus stop by the side of the road. Every time I thought about her, I saw something new. Gentle wind from the approaching rain tossing her almost white hair over her thin shoulder. The glaring outline of her small, frail body against the blue-black clouds gathering on the horizon. Claire Bingley was 13 years old when I stopped my car beside her on the ragged edge of the highway. She'd stayed at a friend's house the night before. Her backpack was stuffed with pajamas, half-eaten bags of candies, a brightly coloured magazine, little girl things that would in a few short hours be spread over an evidence table and dusted with fingerprint powder. We had looked at each other. We'd hardly spoken. But on that fateful day, the backpack would stay by the side of the highway while the girl came with me. I snatched her right out of her beautiful little life and pulled her, kicking and screaming, into my depraved fantasy. In a single act, I ruined everything that she ever hoped she could be. If all my plans had come to fruition, 13 would have been her last birthday. But she survived the fiend that I was. Somehow, she crawled back out of the woods where I left her, a fractured remnant of who she'd been when she stood before me at the bus stop. At least, that's what everyone says happened. Only half of that story is true. I did stand before the child at the bus stop that day, impossibly taller and broader and stronger than her, opening the back door of my car, watching her nervous eyes. But in reality, I'd only pulled over to shift my fishing rod off the back seat, where it sat leaning against a window, tapping irritatingly on the glass as I drove. I'd spoken to Claire Bingley, briefly, but what I'd said wasn't an invitation to come with me, a plea or a threat. I'd made some stupid comment about the weather. Cars full of witnesses had whizzed past us on the road, looking out, photographing us with their suspicious minds, knowing somehow that we weren't father and daughter, that something was wrong here. Premonition. I'd got back in my car and driven away from Claire, forgetting her instantly, having no idea what was about to happen to her. Or me. Someone did abduct that little girl, just seconds after I'd been there. Whoever he was, he did take her into the woods and violate her. And he did make that awful decision, the worst a person can make. He decided to kill her. But she survived, too traumatized to know who the hell had done this to her, too broken to put anything much about the crime into words. It didn't matter what Claire said anyway, in the end. The public knew who'd done this. 12 people had seen the child, seen me standing not far from her, talking to her, the back door of my car yawning open. I'd heard the story of Claire's attack described to me so many times across.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?